event, which we are actually going to write a test for, and is going to return the booking instance back. Another side effect that this method has is updating the apartment by setting the last booked on property, and this is another thing that you can cover inside of your unit tests. So let's create a new class inside of my unit test project that I'm going to call booking tests. I'm going to make this class public. It's going to inherit from my base test helper class, and let's define my test case. I'll give it a name of reserve, which is the method that we're going to test, should raise booking reserved domain event. Let's write the arrange, act, and assert steps, and then let's fill in each step one by one. For the arrange part, I'm going to borrow a few steps that I already have inside of the user tests. We have a step here to create a new user, so let's add that to the arrange step. Then inside of the pricing service tests, I'm going to take this setup here, which creates a price, a period, an apartment, and a pricing service. We're going to need all of this to test our booking reserve method. The one thing I can remove is the expected total price, and then in the act step, I can go ahead and create a booking by calling booking reserve, and let's pass in the apartment, the user ID, the duration, which is called a period here. Let's pass in date time UTC now for the current time, and the pricing service instance. And then in the assert step, I'm going to grab my domain event by calling my assert domain event was publish helper method. I'm going to specify the booking reserve domain event and pass in the booking instance. So this is going to check that the domain event was indeed raised, and I'm also going to add an additional step by saying that the booking ID should be equal to the booking identifier. Let's go ahead and run our new unit test and see if it's going to pass. So I'm going to open up the booking test. You can see that it's passing. And if I run all of my tests inside of the domain unit test project, you can see that all of the tests are passing. So this should give you a general idea of how you can approach unit testing your domain project. You should focus on your domain entities and any domain services you might have, and you want to cover as much behavior as you possibly can with unit tests. For example, in the booking entity, we could be testing the confirm, reject, complete, and cancel methods. All of these methods contain some interesting preconditions and validations before they perform the actual business logic that sets some new property values, and they can optionally raise some domain event to trigger side effects in the domain event handlers. Unit tests are particularly valuable inside of the clean architecture because this is a domain-centric architecture, and you will naturally try to encapsulate your business logic inside of your domain entities. And you can see how quickly we can write unit tests to verify some behavior inside of our domain entities, as well as verify the behavior inside of our domain services. Unit testing your domain is helpful when you want to refactor your entities or domain services, or introduce new behavior and verify that you didn't introduce any breaking changes. All in all, I consider unit testing your domain layer a must in the clean architecture, and now let's see what are some other tests that you should be writing.